Light and Dark, The Adventures of Dark Yagami. Chapter 39. Dark and L must fight or die. You asked for it, now you get it. The action-packed battle between Dark Yagami and L, which will decide once and for all the world. Also, there will be a surpier's appearance by blood. Dark stared at L and L stared back, and then Dark stared more and won the staring contest. Okay, squeaked L. We won't win this war with the staring contest because that's boring and we need action, he said, taking out a machine sword. It was a machine gun, but instead of guns, there were swords that span round and round, shooting little swords everywhere, and one went in Dark's Cheerios. You think you can action? Well, two can play at this game! Dark roared, but secretly he was pissed because Dark had a machine sword too, and he was dead proud of it, and L just bought his at the Salivation Army, so instead Dark got on a cross hammer. This was a crossbow, except instead of arrows, it shot hammer. Roar! Roared L, charging Dark machine guns, shooting everywhere and punching holes in the walls and stabbing all the zombies. It was a shame because the zombies would have learned to be normal people again, but now they never would because they were double dead. Swords sliced against Dark and gave him a haircut, and there were scars all over his face, but they made him look even tougher, and L got scared and dropped the sword. Now it was Dark's turn. He didn't bother with the crosshammer because his fists were harder and he started raining down pulp on L. Bits of candy were splattering everywhere and covering the walls in sugar, and Might Yagami started licking it up. Unfortunately, the candy all went hard and squishy over L and made armor. WTF! Spat Dark. He started licking the candy to melt it, but L liked it and started groaning and getting happy, so Dark stopped. Oh, whatever, I will just Death Note you! Dark yelled and grabbed his Death Note and wrote L. Nothing happened. Are you dead? Asked Dark. Lol, no. Lolled L, flipping the bird through the armor. I have a royal life note back in the base, and there is a robot writing my name in there 100,000 times a second. I am unkillable. That is evil, gasped Dark, because it was. Why would you do such an evil thing?
This is why,
grinned L evilly, except Dark couldn't see his face, so he couldn't see the evil grin, so he thought L was dead sad. The bits of candy started to crack, and an evil red glow came through the cracks, and smoke and an eggy smell like L just farted, which he did because of the candy, but not this time. L's muscles were bulging like no muscles ever seen, and they pulsed with electric and magic strength. The bits of candy melted and caught fire, and L, who was now like an inch taller, slumbered forward, covered in fire and lava, and his hair was all wilds, and two fires burned in his eyes, which kind of hurt, but now he was a monster, so he didn't care.
This is my true form,
L said.
I made an evil deal with the Shinigami Devil, who is eviler than the normal devil. He gave me the Shinigami eyes, and Shinigami ears, and Shinigami horns, and the Shinigami man thing,
he said, unzipping his pants and showing it off. It was very spiky and evil looking, but also quite big, but still not as big as Dark, so he was kind of disappointed, and when he killed Dark, he would go to the Shinigami Devil and get a refund. You have not got a chance, he grinned, and his teeth were so sharp he accidentally ate his lips. You can't kill me, Dark yelled. I knew this day would come, and to save the world, I put a nuclear on my heart. He did the smiley thing and pointed to his heart, because L didn't have one, so he didn't know where it was. If you kill me, the nuclear will explode, and we will both die. I
don't care,
eviled the giant glowing mushroom man, waving his toffee flamed arms around like fireworks. He punched his arm into Dark's chest and pulled out the nuclear and ate it. The nuclear went off in his guts, but all that did was make him like the Hulk and even stronger. He jumped on Dark, and with his evil Shinigami Devil given powers and the sinful power of nuclears, he was actually stronger than Dark Yagami. Dark was tough, so he didn't cry as L headbutted him in the head and butt, but it really hurt, and whenever Dark tried to punch L, he just got his hand burned by the burning sugar that glooped like lava over L's body. A long way away, there was a bang like a robot exploding, but no one heard it, so they carried on. Let's take this fight into the sky, whistled L as he flew into the sky. Dark couldn't fly, so he went to Night's body and stole her jetpack and zipped into the sky. They traded some punch and drank it, and then they got down to the combat. L made his hair all spiky like a Super Saiyan and tried to stab Dark with the spiky bits. Dark had to cut his hair with scissors made of gold. Dark did a kick at L's man thing, but it was so small that he missed. L spat at Dark and his spit caught fire, but that was only on accident. Dark punched L really hard on the nose and blood sprayed everywhere. L did a 20 times punch where he grew 20 arms and they all punched Dark at the same time. The shockwave was so big that it cut the oceans in half like an orange skin and peeled them off the planet, and all that was left were the sharks and the electric eels, and they evolved into electric sharks and ate the leftover zombies.
How are you still alive? Asked
L when the dust cleared. Because I have the power of love in my heart and nothing can defeat that. and then his jetpack ran out of gas. Oh, bats, swore Dark as he fell like an asteroid to the ground.
Ha ha ha, I have you now, Darkest Tailor Yagami.
L groaned as he swooped to the ground. He took his machine sword out but turned it back into a normal sword for drama, and he held it over Dark's eyeball, leaning over him and spraying blood out of his horns.
You will regret the day you ever met with Lindell Taylor, the greatest detective to ever live in his mad British Grand Swattery.
L said, "Not so fast!" And a vampire stake burst out of L's chest and half killed him. He stopped being evil and the horns went away and his man thing stopped being spiky.
What just happened
to me? L yelped as he stopped being evil. I just happened, motherfucker! Shouted Samantha, stabbing him again in the other side of his heart. Thanks, wife, Dark said, standing up and giving her a sexy makeout. 2 thanks for blowing up the life note robot, quotation mark. No problem, husband. That went just as planned, she said, putting her hands in both their pants and getting happy. You puny humans and your sexing burst out with laughter blood. You think you have experienced the joys of the sexy act, but in fact you are rank amateurs compared to a god of death like me, for I have tasted the fruits of the true sexing that can only be felt by a god. But enough of this. Dark, you and me, we must fight. OMG, that was epic. Even I was excited that I was the dude writing it. Tune in next time to see what will happen and also for more sexy time.